Hello, you're on video. Yay. Uh-oh. Why can't I hear you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Maybe it's on my end. I'm gonna leave and come back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yay.
How
Cool.
are you
I'm
today?
doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I was got a little slightly panicked, but I'm good because my mom's doctor's appointment took a little longer than anticipated. But we're here. I'm home. We're good.
Yes. Um,
I had a chance to just kind of.
did you check out the questions in the group?
I
Or
did.
you did? Okay.
I did. Yes, I did. I was able to do that. Yes. I
Cool.
liked about the how do I have to retire so I don't have to work.
Yes. Yeah.
The financial literacy, yeah. I didn't see any more other than those. I don't know if there are more, but I'm sure whatever was asked, we'll be prepared, or if not, we'll just be able to follow back up with them.
Yeah, and I think there were a few more. I'm gonna open it up and make sure I got all of them.
Okay.
Super excited. Said, yeah. So, how to prepare financially retire? What are some good small investments? What some lower risk
Yes.
saving options? Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it just be you today?
No, Will is coming.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll wait.
she should be coming.
We'll wait.
She should be coming on. And so then you just go live in the group and just start? Is that how you typically?
Yeah. So I just go. I find the group in here, and then I just go live, and it'll be live. Um, in the group, not the event page. So I kind of keep trying to tell people like typically when I go live, I go straight into Facebook. But
Uh-huh.
here she is.
Hi, ladies.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you all for being on. I'm excited about our conversation.
Yes, so are
Same
we.
likewise.
And I think the ladies are as well. So I am going to I gotta hook us up here. So give me a second and we'll go live. Any questions before we go on?
No.
No? You good? All right.
No.
Let me click live on Facebook. Let me change the title. Cool and financial. Oops.
Like I haven't seen you in a minute.
I know. I know. It's been a minute.
Group.
Is it to 3:30, Stephanie?
I have it to 30 minutes. Do you need to be shorter?
Okay. No, no, no. Just inquiring.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I'm going to click go live in five,
All
four,
right.
3, 2. All right, it looks like we are live. Welcome to our discussion all about physical and financial wellness. So we are going live inside of the Facebook group. So if you know a lady who is looking forward to hearing this conversation and she's in our group, you can tag her. I will be able to see comments through the Facebook. So if y'all have questions, and if you're tuning in, please say hello so that we can see that you are joining us. So, if you don't know me, my name is Coach Steph. I'm a registered dietitian, personal trainer, and mindset transformation coach. So, I help my clients in a 16-week program to go from being really confused about their nutrition to confidently planning their meal plan, going from loathing their body to loving their body and really loving themselves to their goal. And so I go live each week, and today we have two special guests. We're going to be talking about physical and financial wellness. And I know you guys have put some questions in the group. So I'm going to be looking for y'all's comments. Say hello if you pop on, if you watch the replay, hashtag replay. If you're hopping on live, say hello. And I'm going to allow our guests of Trinity Financial Coaching to introduce themselves. So Willa, why don't you go first?
Hi, everyone. I'm Willa Williams. I'm an accredited financial counselor and a financial coach. I work with my beautiful partner there, Wesley Echoes. We are Trinity Financial Coaching, and our goal is to make sure Christian professional women and their families are completely able to understand how to manage money confidently, live life purposefully, and to also build wealth, and to do it without stress, any stress, and to do it with ease.
Awesome. I love that. I love that mission.
Yes, I am Wesley Echoes, accredited financial counselor and financial coach. Like Willa said, co-founder of Trinity Financial Coaching, and we're also the co-host of the Abundant Living podcast as well. That's available on most of your favorite platforms. And what Willa said, we help our clients navigate their financial journey through creating a purposeful blueprint. And like she said, so that they can do it with grace and ease.
I love it.
It's through 5 steps. Mm-hmm.
So, ladies, if you don't already know, if you did not catch the announcement in the group, I did link the podcast. So if you're a podcaster, or even if you're new to podcasting, you want to go to the event. I'll actually tag it in here too. But you want to follow their podcast. So you can look, I always listen to mine on Spotify, but it's on multiple platforms. You can listen and start, like when we're talking about physical and financial wellness. It starts with, what are you consuming? What are you putting into your body? What are you surrounded by in your environment? So if you are surrounded by scarcity, or if you're just on social media and you're seeing negativity, or, memes, they're cool. But if you want to grow, you have to be really intentional about it. So if you want to grow financially, start consuming information, and then start taking some small action steps. So that's one very simple free action step, is to start and download the podcast, right? So we have several people on. Hey, Tawana, Sonia, Demina, Octavia, Anna. I'm so glad that y'all are watching. Thank you for saying hello. So we are going to start out with some of the questions that were already posted in the group. So y'all already had some amazing questions. So I'm super excited to dive in, and we're going to kind of parallel how our physical fitness and our financial fitness basically intertwine and are very parallel. We've talked about this a few times on some other occasions, where your mindset about your money, y'all, your mindset about your money influences how you spend or how you don't spend. Similarly, your mindset about your fitness also influences your behavior. So let's start with the first question. So it comes from Talicia. So how do you prepare yourself to financially retire so that you do not have to go back to working a job? Very good question.
Ooh. Yeah. What's the member's name? What's her name?
Talicia, I believe.
Talicia?
Yeah.
Talicia.
Talisa.
The best thing you can do is start early. The earlier you start, the better. But if you didn't start early, start now. That is at the basis of starting. But the other things that you want to consider when you're talking about planning for retirement is also understanding and doing some planning to know, well, what do I need to live off of? A lot of times we don't have a true picture of what retirement looks like for us. And so we align it with all these other things that we see. Some people consider retiring doing the work that I love because it doesn't feel like work and I continue to do it. Some people look at retiring as like, nope, I'm just going to travel and I'm going to live my best life and do all the things that I couldn't do when I was doing my 9 to 5. But ultimately, it's up to you to determine, what does retirement look like for you? What does wealth look like for you? And then as you are defining what that looks like, then you can kind of try to quantify it to know how much money is it going to take for me in order to live this lifestyle. Now, typically, a person lives off of 70 to 80% of the income that they're making now. So if you're at your highest earning income years, then you want to kind of look at living off of 70, 80% of that when you in retirement. Why? Because a lot of the bills that you have now, you won't have in retirement, hopefully. Hopefully, a lot of the debt that you have now, you won't have in retirement. So you won't need as much money. So you can use an app that we use with our clients. It's not an app, but it's a website called smartasset.com. And what I love about smartasset.com is that you can go in and you can put in how much you're earning now, how much do you already have saved now, what is the average rate of return that you're getting on your investment, and it will actually do a forecast to say, hey, you're on track to, be able to live off your retirement funds, or hey, this is what you need to do, beef up your retirement a little bit, add 5% more, 10% more, and you can go in and do all these various scenarios and figure out, hey, how much is it going to actually cost me to retire? Think about how soon you want to retire. Even if you're retiring at 50, most people are living well past 80, right? So if you retire at 50, that's 30 some years that you're still going to need your money to work for you. And the money that you save, you're going to have to live off that income. So just keep some of those things in consideration. If it's something that you love doing, you might be doing that in retirement as a consultant and still earning money. But you might also do some other things to bring wealth into your home, in addition to your retirement things. But it'll be based upon, again, what do you define as wealth? And then how do you plan to live your life in retirement?
I love it.
Yeah, I agree. Can I add a little bit?
Yes,
Steph?
absolutely.
Okay, just Wes did a great job of explaining, you have to decide what your lifestyle is going to be. And once you do that, then you decide how you're going to pay for it. We did an episode on the Abundant Living podcast regarding this particular topic. So please go back to episode 39, that is investing for retirement, and take a listen to that. It'll give you some of the information that Wes provided and so much more. If you're still working now and you haven't decided how long you want to work, make sure that you participate in your employer's pension plans, annuity plans, defined contribution, or defined benefit plans. Those are ways that you can use to help you save for retirement. You've decided how you want to live, what you want to do. You don't want to go back to work. So now you're paying for it, and you're paying for it in advance. And that's how your employer plans can help you. And another thing you can do is make sure that you establish your savings plans. Once you do not mess with that money. That's not money that's just sitting there. Oh, I got this building. No, that's for your retirement. It's for the future. So once you decide what you want to do, how you want to live, how you want to pay for it, let it roll until that timeline comes up and you have that opportunity to go out and do like I did, retire, and then work at what you love.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. We have a follow-up question from Jamina. I'm a teacher and I have 10 years left. I don't have a 403B. Do I need that for retirement?
You don't have if you don't have a 403B, then you probably should at least look into establishing an IRA, either a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, so that you can start boosting some of that savings that you need for retirement. We say use your employer plan because you're able to deposit more money in that. It has a greater, a higher limit of amount of money that you can put in there compared to the IRA, which is limiting you to $6,000 a year or $7,000, depending upon if you have to do catch-ups based upon your age. So yes, if you don't have a 403B or a 401k at your job, I would inquire. But if you don't have that, then you can open up IRA yourself and start making those investments or savings in that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. I hope that answers your question, Damina. All right. So next question from Kim. And I do want to say, I think the previous lady's name was Talisa. I am very, very bad. I actually on the last live stream, I butchered someone's name so bad. I messaged her afterwards and was like, I'm so sorry. I know that was please send me a voice message on how to pronounce your name. And so I'm just not a good speller, and reader, but anyways. So I just want you to know. All right, so Kim, next question. Are there finance literacy lessons or curriculum for kids and teens?
Absolutely, there are. There is several places. Jumpstart Coalition is one place where you can look up and find not only materials, but you can find other partners, people that they partner with that provide it. Goalsetter.co, and that's actually a Black-owned financial literacy. It's an app. And what I like about that is not only is it giving theory as real financial education, but they can practically apply it. So it's a way that your children can learn how to use a debit card from the ages, I think, as low as 8. Learn how to use a debit card, learn how to save, learn how to invest. And so it's teaching them, but it's also practical application because of how you set up the account. And then CFPB, the Consumer Financial, I'm getting ready to mess that up.
Protection Bureau.
Thank you. They have resources for youth and teens as well. Did I miss one, Willow? It was another
No,
one.
I think that's pretty good. Those are all. So the CFPB will cover not only the youth and teens, but adults and seniors. It's a myriad of information.
Okay. So I hope y'all are writing these down. So I always like to say and just remind you, we are not here to consume the information. Take something, right? So I'm writing down CFPB, goalsetter.co, right? Earlier you mentioned smartasset.com, and I'm going to go back and look at these things to see how I can start taking some action off of this, right? So if you hear something that you're going to take action on, I want you to put it in the comments, okay? All right, so next question, what are some good, we mentioned some, what are some good financial and budgeting tracking apps?
I think one of the most popular ones that folks use is mint.com. People use Mint, and you can use Mint for all types of budgeting. There is a website, I will send you the link. NerdWallet published a list of the 8 best budget apps for 2022. And those, some are free, some are not. So it just depends on how you want to manage your budget. Mint is free. YNAB, it's funny. It's you need a budget. Yeah, that's for hands-on zero-based budgeting. Good Budget, that's another app. It's for hands-on envelope-based. Some people still like manual envelope system. Everybody don't like electronic things. So there's one in there that's kind of commingled together. Every Dollar, another simple zero-based budgeting one. Personal Capital, another one. Pocket Guard. Honeydew, which is interesting because it's for budgeting with a partner. So that's the one to look for. And Fudget, for budgeting without syncing your account. So when you go to this link, you can see and have access to all of those. Take a look at them and decide which one works best for your financial situation.
Amazing. Did y'all get all of that? That was several. Okay.
That's why I say one thing about the budgeting app. I like what you said when you said about we're not here just to consume the information, but we're here to actually implement. And also keep in mind, and this is one of the things that we talked about, because Stephanie didn't tell you, she's on our podcast and it's releasing in a couple of weeks. But that was one of the things that we talked about with the mindset as it relates to tracking. You want to keep on, you have some people who are tracking macros, you have some people who are tracking every calorie, you have different people are tracking different things in order to reach their financial goals, and your budget is the same way. Some people want to do it zero-based. Some people only want to budget, I'm just going to, budget my fixed expenses, and then I want to spend the rest how I want to spend it, but having some parameter, not overspend. Our approach is for you to create a value-based budget. And so basically what that does is that looks at your expenses, obviously your fixed expenses, the things you have to pay for to live. And then after that, everything else you spend on is based upon what you value. And when you do that, you put yourself in a situation where you are empowering yourself and being proactive and planning how you're going to spend your money, as opposed to looking at it reactively and then kicking yourself in and feeling bad because you went out and bought a pair of shoes, or feeling bad because you decided to go to a concert. Don't do that. Think about what you value. If you value the community that comes, or you value culture, so you go to concerts, or you value community, so you do enjoy dining out with your friends and family, include that in your budget.
Right.
Be proactive to include that in your budget, so that when you spend on that, you're not beating yourself up and saying this doesn't work. I remember when I was trying to track every little thing I ate, I was measuring and tracking and doing all of that. I had to figure out what worked, best. And I'm sure you talk about keeping up with what you eat and being mindful. And at the end of the day, just like you're mindful about how you're eating, you got to be mindful about how you're spending. And that's what you want your budget to do, is give you the boundaries so that you're mindful, but it's not something that you're supposed to use to beat yourself up, be too restrictive, be realistic, and don't fudge the numbers. If don't say you're only going to spend $200, a month on food when it actually costs $500 a month to feed your family. Don't be afraid of the number. Look at it. That's what it takes. All right, so now you might have to spend less on another area or something like that. But be honest with yourself in the spending areas, and then also tap into what you value so that you're aligning your money with what you value.
I absolutely.
When you do that, then there is absolutely no lack, no restrictions. Your budget is made of what you need and what you desire, and absolutely no guilt.
Okay, so I need y'all to put in the chat value-based budgeting. That was so good, because literally what you prioritize, right? If you prioritize, the same thing with fitness. If we're putting in our habits that are going to help us reach our goal, everything else can fit around that. But if you prioritize what you want, that gets done. So, thinking about it in terms of your money, it's like, oh, I just had this aha moment just the other day. Like, if I want to do something, I have all these lists, right? Like things that I want to get. But I'm like, okay, if I don't strategically assign these monies to this project, then I'm going to be at Walmart and my kids are going to want some candy, and I'm going to spend that money on something, and then I don't have what I need to show for it. So so good. Yes, that was some awesome advice, value-based budgeting. I love it. All right, let's get to a couple more questions. Are there any lower risk saving options available beyond a basic savings or money market account?
Well,
who you want to take it, or you want me to do it? You want to do it?
Go ahead. I'll give them another link later, but go ahead.
So there absolutely are. And let me preface, before I answer, I want to let you know why I have to answer the way that I have to answer. So Will and I are accredited financial counselors and financial coaches. We do not have our securities license. So we cannot give you a specific or recommend a specific investment. But what we do provide for our clients is investment education. And so the realm with how I'm going to answer this question is going to be around in the context of investor education. So yes, there are investments beyond a savings that can give you a higher rate of return than what you would receive in your savings account. If you look at your investments, like if you could think of a pyramid, I'm trying to give you a picture. If you can think of a pyramid, hold my hands up so you can see it. At the base of the pyramid is going to be your foundational thing. So that's going to be like your savings account, your checking account, maybe some insurances, right? And so as you grow up into the point of the pyramid, is how the risk of your investments are then going to continue to increase. Now, as your investments risk increase, your returns increase. So your willingness to take on a little bit more risk to get a little bit of a higher return. So the type of returns of beyond the savings would be like government bonds. It could be CDs. It could be, you hear some people talking about the I bonds, the inflation bonds. Those are the type of things that can get you a little bit of higher return than in the bank, but gives you it's not the same level of safety, but it's safer than if it was in like the stock market. It won't have as much volatility. Because I don't want to give you the picture that the stock market is safe and that something else is safer. The stock market just has more volatility than some of those other things that I just mentioned, like I said, bonds or bond funds, CDs, money market. So those are some of the things that are a little bit give you a little higher return,
less risk,
but less risk, higher
Right.
return, but not just putting your money in the bank. I
right?
hope that helps.
Right. Those are really good. The one that I would like to add, I know that they said beyond regular savings, the high yield savings accounts,
Yes.
high yield savings accounts are good as well. They will give you a higher interest rate. And when I even think about what interest rates are now on savings accounts, it's like, oh my God. But if you can get the high yield ones, and most of those are usually the banks where they're the internet banks. You don't see your money, but it's there and it's growing and it's earning. So if you can do those will be good. But because I wanted everything to be current for you all, I went online and I found that bankrate.com published this month, and I'll send you the link, Stephanie, 10 best low risk investments in September of 2022. And it included the ones that Wes gave you and a couple more: high yield savings, Series I bonds, short-term CDs, money markets, which those guys had already said, treasury bonds, corporate bonds, preferred stocks, money market accounts, and money market funds, fixed annuities, and dividend paying stocks. So those are the things that they say are lower risk, but higher interest. So I'll send you the link to these two things that we talked about, one earlier and this one, so that you can provide it. We'll also provide you the link to the podcast, which I know you already got that one, but the link to the value-based budgeting information as well.
Okay, cool.
They in each of those items have something in them that, again, read all the fine print. They all have type of characteristic that either a time commitment or a balance commitment or something like that in order for you to get that higher interest rate. So just make sure that you are checking all of that. Like with some of the money markets, high yield money markets, you can only make so many withdrawals, right? So just make sure that you understand everything that's involved with those accounts when you are researching them.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank y'all. I'm just checking the comments over here. People putting in their value-based budgeting. Hi, Iris, Darlene. All right, next question. Kim had another question. She said, if we want to be a risk taker, what are some of the best high risk options?
And see, there you go. Okay. So
Can't answer that.
So high risk options, I'll tell you what are considered higher risk options, but I cannot give you a specific product or recommendation. Yeah. So when you're talking higher risk, well, you know what? Let me not even do that. High risk depends upon what, right? High risk depends upon how much volatility can you take with that particular item. So can you sleep at night with the risk of knowing that you could lose your money? Now that's when we're talking about high risk. So there are various levels of that. Some people think just having their money in the general stock market is high risk, only because they don't understand how it works, how it moves, and the volatility of it. But then you have some people that go all the way to the other end and do some very speculative, very risky investments, right? So yes, there are high risk investments that can give you a higher yield. And what do they sound like? They sound like options. They sound like, um, you know, technology companies. They sound like the different mutual funds that only house technology companies or only house a certain industry of companies or only house large growth type of stocks. So there are a lot of different products that can give you high risk things, but some products are safer than others. I'm trying to be very, very careful.
Yes. Yes.
There are some products that are safer than others. I am aware of products that are out now that, again, it might not be safe for you. And so let me give you this other caveat since we're talking about high risk investments. You remember I told you about the pyramid. I talked to you about the base, right? You don't want to put the money that's supposed to be at the base of your pyramid in a high risk account.
Mhm.
I know we hear a lot of people saying that they've made X amount of dollars in these accounts. But what we don't know is the monies that they might be investing in those high risk accounts are not going to have an impact if they lose it on their pyramid. So when you're thinking about, the best advice I can give you right now, since we're talking about that, if you're thinking about doing a high risk account, I want you to consider, if this money was to go, if my initial investments was to fall. So say you're going to do, I don't know, a $25,000 investment in this high risk account. And if tomorrow that investment is at 10,000, you sleep at night. Are you okay with that? Is that going to topple everything else that you have to do? Will you be able to pay your bills? Will you be able to send your children to college? Will you be able to continue to increase your retirement plans? Like, all of these other things are a factor when you're thinking about doing a high risk investment. How is that going to impact the rest of your financial health? So make sure you're thinking about that in totality before you do a high risk investment.
When we talk to our clients about investments, our goal is to educate them on financial investments so that when they go to the certified financial planner, who can, in fact, and the certified advisors who can sell them the investments, who can introduce them to the investments, who are legally allowed to do that, we try to make sure that we separate what we say. Wes is not trying to be evasive. We're just trying to be protective of our accreditation. Our accreditation
And to have the
we're not
knowledge.
allowed to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to make sure that
Yeah.
when you go
Yeah.
to the financial advisor, the financial planner, that you walk in there understanding the jargon. You understand what they're going to say. You understand about risk tolerance. You understand about the timeline. You understand those things. It's not something that you would come in and they're talking up here and you're down here like, what in the world are they talking about? No, you're prepared when you go to see them. We get you ready and then we allow you, send you over to them.
So, in terms of what services you provide and the other, I guess, institutions that you're talking about, because I think for a lot of people, it's kind of like you don't really trust, you don't know, like, are you telling me this because you're going to make commission off of this? Or like, there's like a lot of trust issues. So, in terms of like educating, so what I heard you say just now is like you are providing the education and not so much like selling a product, but just like giving you total information so that you can make informed decisions when you go out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
financial advisors are paid with varying types of structures. You have some that are commission only. Okay. Those that are commission only, they only make money when they make the investment for you. So when you say, I would like to make $1,000 in this particular mutual fund, they say, okay, great. And they write the mutual fund ticket and they invest in that mutual fund for you, and then they get a commission off of what they've written. Okay. There are some investment professionals that get paid what is called fee only. So that means that you're just going to pay them a flat rate. They're going to look at your portfolio and build a portfolio for you based upon your risk tolerance, right? And based upon your investment philosophy. and they'll still serve you, but you're going to pay them a fee, right? But they have a fiduciary responsibility, in both instances, to only do what's in the best interest of the client. Now, it said sometimes, and I'm not saying this, but it said sometimes that those that work commission only don't always work in the best interest of the client. The same could be said like to the doctor who only issues this particular pharmaceutical because they get some kick. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same type of philosophy, and that it's like, are you giving me the best prescription for what I need, or are you giving me this because this is what? So in investments, is this the best investment for me, or is this the investment that's giving you the highest commission? Now, our role, because we aren't, like I said, we don't have our securities license, we provide investment education. We make sure that you understand what your investment philosophy is. What is your acceptable level of risk that you're willing to take based upon how long that money needs to be invested? And then we make sure that you understand what your asset allocation is, meaning, okay, I can have this percentage doing this, that percentage doing that, and this percentage doing that to keep my volatility from feeling like a roller coaster and feel just a little bit more streamlined going up. Then you would go to an investment advisor who would actually invest that money for you because you would have the knowledge. They will go look through all of the different mutual funds or stocks or whatever it is that you want to buy and talk to you about that, talk to you about the rate of returns that come from that, how it's rated, what the fee would be to invest in it, and they would do all of that. We wouldn't do that. I hope that clears that up.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So how is your program, is it a program where it's like a certain amount of months, or like how does one like sign up with you and like get coaching?
Oh, sure. We have a 12-week program, one-on-one coaching. You could work with us and we go take you through a 5-step process. We help you evaluate your money mindset, help you evaluate where you are, your money mindset. What is your cash flow doing for you right now? We also have you envision your future, like we talked earlier. What does wealth look like for you? We help you establish an effective cash plan so you can fund it, right? So we help you with coming up with your budget to figure out how can I now begin to put the things in place to fund this vision that I have for my financial future. And then we also help you elevate a framework so that you can build your net asset. And so sometimes that includes creating a debt elimination strategy, or that might be saying, okay, well, I need to do a little bit more than what I'm doing in saving. Hold me accountable so I save more. Hold me accountable so I can invest more. And then the fifth thing is we also make sure that you can expand your influence impact through generational wealth. Make sure that you understand all the elements that it takes in order to, now that you've preserved and accumulated wealth, or on a path to preserving and accumulating wealth, you have everything in place in order to distribute it. And a lot of times we don't think about that. We don't think about the fact I need a will and or a trust to make sure that my wishes are met and known. We think we're too young, but with everything that's going on in life, that is something that we need to talk about, not only amongst your immediate family, but even from like your extended family. So not your parents with your children, but you also need to have that conversation with your mother and your father so that you understand what you need to do for them as well. So just kind of go through and get you on pace to have a purposeful blueprint in order for you to reach financial success. And that's through a 12-week class, not class, but a 12-week one-on-one coaching.
Awesome. Okay, y'all. So those were the questions that were in the group. If you end up watching this later and you have questions, go ahead and put it in the chat so that we can follow up with you later on and answer your questions. So I know we talked about, we're going to drop the link for the podcast. So again, if you're watching now and you're not a podcaster, this is a perfect time to start getting your mindset geared towards financial fitness. So we're going to drop that link so you can download the podcast. And how can everyone reach you in terms of connecting with you, or if they're interested in coaching?
Well, our website is www.mytfcoach.com. So that's www.mytfcoach.com. And once you get to the website, there are tags up there, labels where you can go to our podcast. You can book online for a free 30-minute consultation, which will help us determine whether or not you are fit for the program, the 12-week program, or whether or not you need to go directly to some of our online courses that we have. We do have online, the value-based budgeting that we spoke about earlier. That is a on-demand course that we have. We also have our Wealth and Wisdom Facebook group. Those are people who have gone through our course, and we're doing some rebuilding. It seems like we're always rebuilding on social media. So right now we're rebuilding that, but you do have access to it. It is a free community. So please go in. We do the same kind of conversations, and we're getting geared up to do more lives as you're doing here. We're geared up to do more lives in our community. So you can email us, get us both at info@mytfcoach.com, or Wes directly at Wesleya@mytfcoach.com, or myself directly, Willa@mytfcoach.com. So we're out there. If you go directly to our website, you can grab us. There's no way to avoid us because we're there.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much. So I didn't get all of the emails, but if you could drop that into the group later, that would be super helpful.
We can. And the blueprint that I mentioned, you can also get at the website as well.
Yeah, it's a link to the blueprint.
Okay. So did y'all hear that there is coaching and courses, right? There's a free Facebook group. There's a podcast. There's a way that you can connect and just get started, perfectionists. We talked about a lot now, but don't let that overwhelm you. One step. So if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to type in the first step in the comments. I need you to write one step, and don't write two. Do not write two, because I know y'all. I just want one step that you are committed to taking, whether it be getting on the podcast, whether it be going to the Facebook group, whatever it is, sending them an email, that you are committed to doing. So again, just to kind of recap, we're kind of talking about your financial fitness, how it kind of parallels to your actual fitness, your health in your body. And I think that these are two of the most important conversations, especially that women can have in terms of like your body and budgeting, right? Like these are the things that you can control. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you don't have. The money that you have, you can manage well.
Exactly.
Right? You don't have to wait until you have more money to manage what you got well, because it doesn't really matter if you got a hole in your bucket and you keep putting more, water in it.
Water in it.
Fall out. So
holes in your purses.
Right. So I just want to make sure that we're all like clear in how important your fitness and your finances are. I can't even say enough about that. So Domina says she is definitely going to go to the podcast. Patricia says podcast and listen. So I want to see some more. I see there's like 3 more people on here. So go ahead and type in what you're going to do. So thank you so much. Is any last words y'all want to leave us with or anything before we hop off?
I'd like to leave just a couple last words. I know personally, when you are not, when your physical fitness is not in order, you try to feed that to make it better, and it negatively impacts your finances because you start spending on things that you ought not be spending on. And when we do that, sometimes it costs us so much more to get back on track. So you're right, financial fitness and physical fitness are so parallel and they are just right
Mhm.
there together. It's a very important integration, and we have to get those together.
Right.
And I'll say, trust the process and enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Just like with our fitness journey, we have to be patient. And a lot of times we want the quick results. And sometimes with the things that we're doing in our finances, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes refining. So don't beat yourself up. I heard you refer to your community as perfectionists. Don't beat yourself up if you didn't get the budget, quote unquote, right the first time.
Mhm.
Don't beat yourself up if, you started investing and then the market takes a downturn and now you got to build it back up. All of these things that happen when we're trying to, achieve our financial journey also happens in our physical journey, also happens in our financial journey. So enjoy the ride, enjoy the process, and keep it simple and do it with ease.
Mhm.
One thing at a time, like Steph said, one thing.
Yep, and keep learning. So, ladies, I hope
And
this was
keep
helpful. I
learning.
know I took a ton of notes. I hope y'all did too. So I just want to say thank you for being on and sharing your knowledge. Y'all dropped so many gems. Super excited to have y'all on. And like I said, ladies, leave any other comments in the chat. I'm just looking to make sure. Yep, we got hearts. All right, y'all. So thank you so much. I'm
We're
going to
so
end.
glad to be here.
I'm
So
so
glad
glad
to be here.
to
Thank
have
you for the invitation. This was great.
I loved it. All right, y'all. Have a good day. And I'm going to end the live and I'll see y'all soon.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. How do I end this?